Hey guys, young Psychonaut here, back at it again with another video, and this time I have something that has been highly requested for some time. I'm going to do the watching movies or drugs to watch movies on tier list. So these will be all the drugs rated on how nice it is to watch movies on them. First of all, a little shout out to my two members, Owen Collins and I boof salvia the moment I wake up. Thank you guys so much for still supporting me. It means a lot to me. And for all the other people, if you want to become a member, you can by joining the channel. It will have some additional perks, like some videos will be available to you day before the rest of the channel has access to them. So that's quite nice. In future, I think I'll also make some member-only videos. So yeah, if you want to support me, you can now by joining the channel. So yeah, let's get started. I only included drugs that I tried to watch movies on, because there's also some drugs that I just never even got the idea to specifically watch movies on. Like, I don't know, codeine, for example. I just was always doing music while on codeine, so I just don't really even have a good reference frame for some of the drugs, I guess. So these are all the drugs that I actively watched movies on, and so that I can rate based on how fun it is to watch movies on. If you guys don't know, I'm a huge movie fan. I actually have a lot of my favorite movies on DVD right now, so none of the streaming services can just delete it. I can just watch whenever I want. I watch these movies, well, actually each of them I watch every few weeks, so I would say every one of these movies I watch probably a few times per year, 10 times a year, 5 times a year, 15 times a year. It really depends on the movie, but I will talk about those movies in an upcoming video, so don't worry. If you really want some good tips for movies, I'll talk about it in another video. But yeah, let's get started by rating these substances based on how fun it is to watch movies on them. And I can just start off with a few S tier instantly, like for example, weed. As you guys know, I mean, weed just enhances anything you do, basically, your taste, your music perception. But for movies, I mean, weed is just perfect. Just lock in, have some fun, especially when it's a comedy. It will just be that much more funny. Or when it's like a sci-fi, the visuals will be astonishing. I don't know, for example, watching Dune on weed is just already amazing. Yeah, and I mean, just, it's so accessible, it's so easy. It doesn't really feel like with some of these drugs, when you watch movies, it kind of feels like you're wasting the substance in a sense. But with weed, it's just so common, so available, that I don't really have that feeling when I'm smoking weed and watching movies. I think it's a perfect pairing. So yeah, I think also S tier will be for me DXM. There's something about light dissociative states that really enhance the viewing experience for me. Because the thing is, when you watch movies over and over again, sometimes your brain can kind of get into this default mode where you're watching, but you're not really watching because you've already seen the scene. But the thing is, I really love rewatching movies, so I really want to be more present, because every time I'm really rewatching a movie, I see new things in every scene almost. So, especially when it's a really good movie, like I don't know, a Tarantino movie. They have just so many intricate details. They're just fun to explore. But as I said, with a slight dissociative state, so like DXM, and later some other compounds here, it just locks me into the movie. I can just watch for 2 hours straight without taking my eyes off the screen and just being fully absorbed into the story. And also, I mean, DXM for me is not very stimulating, so that's also nice. You can just lie down, just chill out. I guess the same thing goes for ketamine 2-FDCK, that I would definitely also put S tier for the same reason as DXM. If you just take a little bit of 2-FDCK, for example, orally, preferably, it'll just give you this sense of total immersion and focus into the movie, especially when it's a little bit more visually stimulating movie, I don't know, Brazil, or some other Terry Gilliam movie. That's the perfect moment where you just don't want to miss any second of the movie, because there's just so much going on. So yeah, these definitely help me kind of be more present when I'm watching movies and just be less unfocused. So there's also some. Okay, so tramadol I also is very nice, but I would put it in A tier because I just tend to fall asleep when I take too much. Obviously, I will pair any of these with weed when I'm watching movies, so don't think I'll just take this like without any weed, but the experiences are still very, very different, even though everything is combined with weed. But yeah, tramadol ODSMT also very nice. Gives me also a little bit of that locked in feeling, and just makes everything a little bit funnier and things like that. But it does give me a little bit of like slouchiness, and sometimes I kind of like fall asleep, especially late at night when I watch movies. So that's really annoying to me because I just want to be up when watching movies. Otherwise, I would just go to sleep. So that's why I put it A tier. Also, very nice body load to just like chill and hang on the couch. So, but yeah, I think that's A tier for me. I think 2CB will be either S tier or A tier, but I think A tier because the problem with 2CB is yes, I get more immersion. Yes, it's very cool and everything, and I'm way more like into the weirdness of the story. But sometimes the visuals on 2CB are a little bit much. Like sometimes you really ask yourself, like, is this part of the movie or like is this the 2CB? And obviously that can be very fun, especially when you do it with movies you've already seen. But sometimes you just really, it's kind of like distracting you from the actual movie, and you're not really like following the movie anymore. You're just like looking at the visuals, which can be cool, but it's not really the reason why I watch movies. So if I just wanted a very visual experience on psychedelics, I would just not watch any movies. So yeah, 2CB is kind of fun, especially maybe in the tail end of it when the visuals aren't that strong. Maybe then it would be more S tier, but for now I'll just put it in A. So I also have some few ones that are I definitely put in D tier, like Ritalin and caffeine, and kind of like in the same boat. They're just like stimulants, substances. I do not experience any kind of movie enhancement on stimulants. I know a lot of people in the comments will probably be like, yeah, but like on Adderall or like on Coke or meth, movies are amazing. Yeah, obviously anything is amazing when you have that much dopamine in your brain. But are you actually finding something more fun about the movie because of these substances, or are you just like dopamine induced? Because that's the thing with dopamine drugs for me, and you're gonna hear this a lot on this channel. That's also probably why I don't like dopamine drugs, is I just feel fake as fuck on them. Like, anytime I did an upper, anytime I did like an amphetamine, even with MDMA a little bit, like I just don't really seem to enjoy the moment because something fun is going on. I seem to enjoy it because I'm spiked on dopamine. And that just feels fake to me. That just feels like, yeah, and also very slippery slope. Like if you don't actually like the substance you're doing, you're just biologically primed to do so. Like, are you really having fun? Are you really doing something you want to do, or are you just like chasing this dopamine? But yeah, besides that, I don't really see any kind of enhancement for movies for myself when I take any kind of dope generic substance. So this is also going to be probably very controversial, but MDMA, I just don't like watching movies on MDMA. I just want to listen to music. I just want to like move around, have a good chat. But movies are just way too like confining for me when I'm on MDMA. When I'm on MDMA, I just don't want to be stuck in the same experience for like more than 20, 30 minutes. And so yeah, for movie watching, it just doesn't give me any kind of magic or any kind of like extra. I just don't really like watching movies on MDMA. I put it in C tier because it is more fun than Ritalin and caffeine. So I definitely have to rank it higher because there's some serotonin going on. And as you guys can see from like a lot of the other things, serotonin does kind of enhance the movies a little bit. But for me, the NMDA receptor is definitely more interesting when watching movies. But yeah, so I think for me, benzos. The thing about benzos is, okay, so I watched a lot of movies on benzos back in the day, and I would just say it's probably a C tier. Because I liked watching movies on benzos, but I don't think I really liked watching movies on benzos. I think I just liked doing benzos, and I liked watching movies, and those two just happened to be at the same time. But I've never ever experienced a moment where I was like, the benzos actually enhance the movie or make it funnier. It actually kind of like just makes you watch a movie and not remember anything of it basically. Like the first 10 times I watched Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, I was on benzos, and the 11th time when I watched it, it was basically the first time that I really watched it. Because when you're on benzos, you think you're really like following the story, but you're just like missing 30 seconds here, a minute there, 2 minutes there. Like you're not really there. You're not really into the story. And it can feel like, from your perspective, as if you were really like into the movie. But when you were asked later, like, what was this scene about? What was this scene about? You will not be able to recall. And that's like the really scary thing about benzos, is you just don't even know how much you don't know. That's kind of like the scariest thing that I found out when I stopped using them, is like you don't even realize how much you're not realizing because of benzos. Anyways, so for HOMET, very, very, very visual psychedelic. I would say it is higher than MDMA and benzos, but it's not very high. I would say B tier. I don't like watching any kind of screens on psychedelics, but I must say, when I watched some comedy on 4-HOMET, it was hilarious. The thing with 4-HOMET is it gives you this kind of laugh kick that's just very, very, very special to 4-HOMET. It's like this very much, it's not an MDMA laugh, it's not a shroom laugh, it's almost like in the middle, where it's like not too forced, but also it does have this quality of a little bit of like a raging maniac laughing. So if there's like something light, something comedy on, I guess 4-HOMET would still be fun. But if you're really like into watching a movie and like really want to get the story, the visuals will probably like blow you away, and you will probably not be able to really like see what's going on, especially in higher doses. So I would say B tier for that one. So acid and shrooms, I'm also going to put in the same tier. I just don't like watching movies on psychedelics. When I have a psychedelic trip, I close all my screens, shut off all the computers, all the TVs, all the laptops, phones, whatever, put on some really good music playlist, and just fucking enjoy the trip. And I feel like the benefits from tripping will be more pronounced when you do it like this. Because if you just like watch a movie for a few hours, or just like do something where your brain is not stimulated, or like not as much stimulated, I think the neuroplasticity, etc., from shrooms, acid, whatever, will be less noticeable. Yeah, I don't really like watching movies on them, but if you do watch it, it is kind of more fun than these, because it will still give you like this really, like the thing with psychedelics and watching movies for me is I get just way too much into the movie, to the point where I'm like emotionally invested in something that I've seen like 20 times, and then it's just like, why are you trying to like fuck with your psyche when you can just like not do it? So I just choose not to do it. I just choose to have like a really positive, really like uplifting trip with basically just music. So yeah, as you can see, these are definitely my favorites to watch movies on. When I watch a movie, I'm basically always stoned, or like I have a little bit of ketamine, or yeah. These are also kind of fun, but like below B tier, I would just not really choose to watch movies on. I think some of these will be controversial, but anyways, this is my list and this is my experience. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. I really hope you liked it. Let me know in the comments which drugs you like to watch movies on. And yeah, I will make a video in the coming weeks maybe, where I talk about my favorite movies, and definitely those will be the ones that I use these substances to watch. So yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.